These days, sports stars attract as many column inches for what they do off the pitch as what they do on it.
And this week, England rugby player Mike Tindall and teammates were criticised for being photographed out drinking in a bar on Sunday night. So, question, can Mike Tindall be forgiven for having a bit of harmless fun, or should we demand more from our sportsmen, particularly if they happen to be married to a member of the royal family? PR consultant Richard Hillgrove is here he's the one in the hat, and sports psychologist James Beale, and Mike is still with us as well. So that some of the CCTV images, Richard, don't look great, but is it a PR disaster, and if so, who for?
I think it's a PR disaster for the England team, and I think it was completely avoidable. And Martin Johnson's defending it, saying, "Oh, this is a way we get a bit of stress relief." Well, having it all across the world's media, with everyone probably pelting them with calls and questions as what's happening, even if it is completely beaten up, is not helpful for the team's lead up to some very important matches.
Well, James, there are different views on that, aren't there? Because some people say that it's kind of precise, not least because they're getting a lot of stick. It might draw them together, and also just camaraderie.
Yeah, I think when you're at a World Cup, you need to have a time to yourself, to let off steam, and this is one way that the rugby players do it. I mean,
do they have to do it in public?
No. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's not ideal that this headline has come out, and
it was totally avoidable if it was planned. Martin Johnson said we went wandering around different bars, we stumbled upon this bar with dwarf throwing and, you know, lesbian jelly wrestling, and I know I think it was the bouncer that released the footage, but anyone could have taken it on a smartphone and released it to the world's media. What are they doing there?
Well, they're having a drink. They're having a drink.
Chris Ashton does say this morning they weren't aware of the dwarfs when they first arrived. In fact, he says we didn't bring them with us, a sort of sheet. But he was saying the importance of this sort of night out in terms of bonding the team together. Actually, he thinks the whole episode, the reaction in the press, will galvanise the team and strengthen the bond between them, almost like us against them attitude.
And I think that could happen too. I think that this could, when the press get on the back, it could be the case that they come together, they stay together, and they become a tighter unit as a result of it.
The management have clearly taken the position, which I mean, and Martin Johnson, I think, said rugby players drink beers, shocker. I mean, he is saying, look, this is happening all the time. It happens that there's some pictures of it. You know, I really don't mind.
Well, he's saying he's put his arm around 700 women in Queenstown as well. I know
he's
sort of
50,
making
actually.
50, all right, 700. 5,000 women in Queenstown. Okay, so this is how it gets exaggerated. But I think the main issue here is Mike Tindall has now married basically into the royal family. And everyone totally underestimated the impact of him getting married 6 weeks ago to Zara Phillips and what that would do. And the media is touch sensitive to anything. I mean, they could have taken 30 pictures of him and used picture number 17 with him looking a certain way, and they would do it. And he's given them ammunition. It's a rude awakening for Mike Tindall.
He may not mind, of course. JF in Southampton says the media have lost the plot. They need to stop moralising about other people's behaviour, which is no one else's business, and simply report on things that matter, real news that people care about.
Well, do you think that Zara Phillips appreciates being the inset picture in the Sun with a CCTV picture of some woman that
I have no idea, but the quotes from her friends say that she's relaxed.
I suppose, if nothing else, it is a wake-up call about scrutiny. Because, I mean, I suppose we know, in a way, that they're under huge scrutiny. It's more than ever now, isn't it?
Rugby almost is seen as different to other sports. If this had been football, like the Gaza dentist chair or whatever, there was a huge outcry from the actual fans. And this, you hear fans saying, oh, it's jolly japes, this is what rugby players do, like you were saying.
Well, if they win, the thing is, if they win.
If they win what? The whole tournament?
If they keep winning each game, then everyone sort of thinks, well, it doesn't matter what you did last night.
I think the point is that they weren't out the night before. They're not out the night before the game, and that's important, because then they wouldn't be able to perform to their best.
A whole week,
but they had a whole week to recover. And I think really, if they're able to let off steam in that way, or if they're able to let off steam perhaps in that way or a different way, then that's going to help them. That's going to help them in terms of remaining calm. That's going to perhaps galvanise the team a little bit, and there are positive things from it. The issue really is around appropriateness of the letting off steam.
They've already been criticised for an undisciplined game. It was, I mean, they sort of scraped through a win, and it was pretty undisciplined. And then to have them all out on the lash like a stag weekend doesn't send the right message to the world about England. England is better than that. I mean, I'm from New Zealand, and the All Blacks are not out on the lash.
As far as you know.
Well, no, they might. Look, I've got no issue with them having a drink and relaxing, but the idea of going into a public environment where clearly the whole world's media are on radar. It's just a PR flaw, basically.
We will leave it there for now. Richard, James, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you
later. Yes, we weren't able to bring you the interview with Mick Jagger yesterday because of events unfolding in South Wales, of course, but we'll have a look at it now. If you're 68, you might be thinking about taking things a little quieter, but not if you're rock and roll legend